Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
And 100 students, nobody will in love with one student. They have to take care of 100 students, and your kid will be one of the students. Same thing with the cloud, and you will not get extra preference. Your application is one of those million applications running in their environment, but you will be always scared. How much security you have, you always will be scared. It is running on somebody's environment. What if they can give all SLAs, you are secured, but you believe that it is secured until it is broken. But on premises, whatever the situation it is, you own it. It's your perimeter, it's your own environment. You have 200% confidence, right or wrong?
Exactly. Right.
Right? So that's the difference. Yes, people say cloud will solve all the problem. No, cloud will solve certain problems. There is nothing that it has not solved the problem, but you have to be worried about security. It's like your kid in front of you is better, or your kid in a hostel is better. That's where the choices you have to make. Benefits, pros and cons are there. There is nothing wrong in pros and cons. Everybody has their own benefits, but still security is a big challenge. So this is what HashiCorp see, at a high level, these are the top 15 features or 10 features are what I can look at. It's a simple key value store. That's it. It's like a simple database which is just having a key value. That's it. Nothing fancy here. Just a key value store. You need to mount that path. You need to give the permissions to that path. You need to set up that authentication. And wide variety of secret engines. So wide variety of secret engines means, as I was telling, Azure, AWS, or GCP, or any other AD, or any on-premises platform, any platform, it can well integrate. Now I'll tell you why it can be well integrated with this one. And manages leases on the secrets. As I told, one type DBA networker application, anybody username and password. Just because you are not experienced with the username password, I have seen it. Whenever we build some application, that username and password will be there forever. Dev username and password. Who cares about dev, right? Dev user ID password database, it's all dev. You close, you delete. Nobody cares about dev environment, only production. But coming in this new environment, even in financial world, we care about dev environment also. We want to encrypt that one also, and it is because of audit, it because of compliance. We do care about that one. Think about everything should be encrypted in the organization. Doesn't matter dev or test or production. Previously, it was challenging because in production, it's a lot of money. And I can't put in dev environment. I can't put in test environment. That's the reason people don't care about dev or TST environment. Now, after Vault, you can use it for who is stopping you to encrypt everything inside your organization? Who is stopping you to have a secret only for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, or 1 day, or 2 days, or 1 month? But always keep rotating means you are more secure, more secure, more secure. More security comes from not storing at permanently long-lived passwords or anything tokens or anything. That's the reason. And you can revoke leases, manage access to secrets using policies. Only specific set of people only can have access, right? Else people need to revoke those, revoke that one. And previously, when I say asking, even including me, I can't change my password 16 characters every 3 months. It's a very painful to put those multi characters and all, and I can't remember every time. How many times I try, it will say, you might have experienced this scenario, right? Oh, your password is similar to the old one. You keep on changing, it will keep on bumping at you saying that one, this password has already been used. It's so much painful. Now the world is moving away from that place. It's all token based. You get the password on your mobile phone, you get the password on your not a password, token is an encrypted one. It's not a plain one, it's a random gibberish characters, and that token you can use to authenticate, and that will go off after you log off. You get new token. So how secure it is? Nobody can't hack your systems because one username password for a bank account, anybody can access, your family can access when you give them password. So that's the thing. And namespaces, we'll talk about that one. Audit devices, obviously, when you deal with Vault server itself, you need to log every activity done on Vault itself. Now, Vault itself is a service, and I need to log in who is accessing Vault, whether an application, whether it's a DBA, whether it's a system administration, whoever it is, I need to log all those things. Audit devices help on that one. Encryption as a service, so this we'll talk about it. And this is what the PKI was talking about. It can act like a public key infrastructure. You don't depend on third-party GoDaddy or some Microsoft or Azure or AWS provided certificates. You can depend on your own Vault to generate those certificates. And built-in high availability. This you need to implement through console. I'll show you one diagram how it is implemented. And interactions using HTTP API, CLI, and UI. This I'll show you one more thing also. So wait for it. Right. So it is access to, so there are only three ways you can access Vault. One is through CLI, one is through command line interface, one is through user interface, one is through HTTP API, verbs, we call it HTTP API verbs. So let's talk about what is open source versus enterprise versions. So this is a common question people ask me. What open source offers, what enterprise offers. So open source offers dynamic secrets, ACL templates, unseal the workflow, seal and unseal. Those are, I'll show you some examples how to play with that one. It is a vault agent, key rolling up role. All these features, whatever encryption as a service, how can you unseal using third-party identity access providers from a public cloud? And anything on the enterprise, what Prithvi you are asking is all falls into enterprise world. Disaster recovery, namespaces, replication, read replicas, how to maintain high available clusters, how to maintain multi-cloud clusters on Vault, how to implement console on that one. Those are all part of enterprise versions. Multi-factor authentication, everything comes under enterprise. That you need to pay a lot of money to them. And they will help you out to install those things. And majority of the companies, just you're the owner of the Vault, so your company should pay for the enterprise license. You're the guy who will be talking to the Vault how to implement that one. You're not going to read any documentation at that point of time. They will help you out. You go through the regular set of documentation. If anything happens, they are there to help you out because they know the product. That is where they make money for this. Open source, we can play around with 100 things. Whatever open source provides, we can play around with, well versed with that one. But whatever people always ask for enterprise, that we need to pay for it. That doesn't have any much documentation, only plain thing. So as I was telling, these are the only four things or four components we need to always remember is one is storage backends, one is secret engines, one is authentication machine or audit devices. We'll talk about storage backends where, as I told, Vault is a plug-in model. You can get any storage. It will take that storage for store your information, but it will store in an encrypted format what Vault can understand. That's what it is. Secret engines.
Which storage is like it is a Oracle based or a SQL based? Which one is?
I'll show you 1 second. Anything, any database you get it. 1 second, I'll show you that storage backends. 1 second, so that you get an idea about what it is. Storage, come on. It is in the storage backend itself is a separate topic. I'll just share with you just. Yep.
Yes.
So that you have an idea because I don't want to start on that time. This is what. Now, can you look at your storage backends here?
Okay. Yes.
Just have a glance on this slide. It will come in the storage when I talk about storage. Now, these things will at least to get you started, at least you understand when you talk about where does Vault stores information means, these are the places. So when you see the red lines, console and the raft are the two key value database stores where it comes with what you call enterprise ready solutions. And when you see highly available supported, only the console and the MySQL cloud storage open source version they are supported. File system, S3, Swift, Manta, MS SQL, CockroachDB, Cassandra, all are supported, but they are not highly available. Highly availables are console, DynamoDB, etcd, FoundationDB, Google Cloud Spanner, MySQL, PostgreSQL. And in that one also, you need to look at only HashiCorp supported, which So, okay, when I say supported means there is a community edition, there is a HashiCorp edition. Community edition means Cassandra, CockroachDB, CouchDB, etcd. These are all community-based databases. So you need to depend on community to get the support. These are open source community support. You need to work with them to get the support. They will have documentation, their own documentation, how to integrate with what. And there is a HashiCorp supported. There are only 4 things which HashiCorp supported. One is console because it's their product. File system, yes, they have implemented file system there itself. Raft, again, their own implementation. Again, in memory, it's their own implementation. Only those 4 things are HashiCorp supported. You can find documentation if there is issues. But enterprise ready, only 2 things, console and Raft. Make sense, guys, this one?
Yeah.
Right? So you need to look at where is your support here. Are you looking for enterprise support? Are you looking for open source version? Are you looking for HashiCorp supported? So whenever you take a decision, design decisions, you need to take care of. This is one of the important factors. When you start thinking about, I want to implement Vault in my organization, you need to start thinking where you're going to implement this one. If you are going for a cloud vendor, hopefully you go for AWS or Azure or anything, look for their things. If I go to cloud vendor, I use DynamoDB for AWS. If I'm going for Azure, I'll use only Azure related databases. If I go for Google, I'll use for Google Cloud Storage. If I want to be fancy, I'm a MySQL guy, I'm an S3 guy, I'm a Swift guy, Zookeeper, then you're again inviting one more expert into your team. Now here itself, I need 4 subject matter expert. One an Azure expert, one is a Vault expert, one is a Azure, Vault, and console expert. If I'm dealing with console, every product has their own expertise there. So if you deal with a database guy, you should talk to MySQL guy or MS SQL guy. So you can't do both the things. I want to be a database guy. I want to be a Vault administrator also. No, there is only one role, Vault administrator only. You need to connect to those guys. You need to sit with these guys. This is what I want to store data in MySQL. They will give you a database. They will give you tables. They will create everything for you. Then you can access your Vault through those things. And there are documentation for that one to do it. You need to read the documentations. And documentation is very
good. Inbuilt or like it is a separate storage.
Sorry?
Console also it is a separate storage. Console.
Yes, absolutely. But it comes integrated with, it's a separate storage apart from Vault. But both are Vault products, so HashiCorp products.
Okay.
Everything is away. Again, the principle is always the same. I'm a Vault guy. I only manage secrets. That's it. I store data anywhere. That is called as plugin. It can be console because it's a HashiCorp. People trust console. Why? Because it's a HashiCorp product and people believe that one third party. See, HashiCorp doesn't own Google, right? HashiCorp doesn't own Azure. HashiCorp doesn't own AWS. If HashiCorp needs to talk to those guys, they always point it out, read their documentation. If something goes wrong with AWS, HashiCorp will never take a responsibility on that one. That's the reason people are afraid to touch those things. People will experiment. Nothing wrong. People are smart enough. I'm using AWS. Why should I pay for console? And people are smart enough to do those things. But you have always a breakage link. I'm dealing with 2 different vendors. And I have a challenges. What if AWS screws up? What if Azure screws up? What if GCP screws up? What if Vault doesn't understand what it's talking? But Vault and console go hand in hand. Because you can ask only one guy. HashiCorp, console is your product. Because, okay, put it in a different perspective. Vault and console is like a brother and sister in a family. You can't divide them. They live with you. And you trust both brother and sister, right? In the same family. Rather than your cousin sisters or neighbor sisters or neighbor's friends, you can't trust them. They may not be compatible. But brother and sister is always compatible, hopefully, in the sense. That's how you need to think. That's how people, these are all architecture decisions. I will trust Vault and console rather than any other cloud vendor provider because both are from the same company. And I'll get well support. I have less pain to handle. But I have only one person to deal with here. But you pay money. That also you need to remember. But in real scenarios, everybody is using AWS for last 5 years. Okay, screw console. I can store in AWS because I'm rock solid AWS guy. I know how does IAM works, and I'm learning Vault here. I'm very good at AWS. All is I need to look at Vault here. I go and integrate and I experiment, and there are documentations to help you on that one.
Okay.
Make sense, guys?
Yeah, yeah.
That's how architectural decisions you need to take, right? Storage backends. So this is what everybody has the question, right? Vault storage data, where does Vault storage data store data? That is where the databases we talked about. Configures, again, it's a part of a configuration file, HCL file. It's called as a HashiCorp language file. And that file, you can configure your databases there. End of the day, in order to connect a database, what do you want? You need to have an API. You need to have a credentials to connect to the database. That's how it works. Okay, one sec, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So storage is defined in main Vault configuration. We'll see only one configuration. There are no ton of configuration. And always I look up to Vault in terms of they are one of the pioneers in DevOps. They have very best documentations in the compared to any other documentations, and they are very good engineers because I met them personally. Right? That's how Arman or Michelle Hashimoto, our CEO, sort of was telling on a day one. I met them personally. They are rock solid engineers, and everything you touch in Vault is a rock solid product. You can bluntly believe them, and you can test it out, validate it, and ask them. PHS may be there, may not be there, but they have a very good team. Right? So that's what only one main Vault configuration file. That is where you connect your Vault to your database. How does Vault? Vault will read that configuration file before running Vault. These are my storage backends. These are my configuration files. These are my AWS or Azure or credentials, the secret key or access key credentials, everything you configure in one HCL file. During startup, it will read that configuration file and start running Vault for you.
Where does this
As I told,
configuration
not
file
all
sits?
storage backends. It sits in your environment, wherever is it
Is it
opt/vault.d/vault.hcl.
with the
You
with
can
the
store anywhere.
okay with the
It's
with
a flat file.
it is part of this plugin, or it should be in a separate storage?
It's a flat file system. It's a file. It's a text file. It's a config file. It's a text file.
Okay, like
Have you seen Apache configuration file anytime? It's a text
yeah,
file.
we
It's a
have
HCL file. I'll show you.
like
It's
see if
just
I
a
install.
configuration file.
Okay, it will be in the Linux itself, where I've installed my.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
yes. File system. File system.
okay,
It's a
okay,
Vault binary. Yeah. Vault binary. It sits on operating system. So it's a Linux or Windows.
okay,
And that is a file
okay,
it
okay,
reads from the operating system.
got it,
That's
got it.
right. That's it. So yeah, okay, good. So as I was telling, only HashiCorp supported is HashiCorp console and file. Think like console is a key value data store. That's all you need to think. But when we talk about console, it comes with high availability default when you go for enterprise edition.
Okay,
That's the beauty of this one. That's why Vault high available, console high available. That's where this comes into place. And end of the day, when you do enterprise implementation, you don't run one Vault server, right? You need to implement high availability, right? One that Vault server goes on, your entire infrastructure comes down. Nobody can't authenticate. No applications can authenticate with each other. Nobody has a user IDs, tokens, and passwords. So you keep high availability. And now that's one more architectural decision. Your Vault servers, you want to run Vault servers on Kubernetes or run Vault servers on Azure platforms or anywhere. But it's independent of any platforms. It can be on premises. It can be any of the cloud vendors. Make sense, guys?
yeah, yes, yes.
Now we are talking about installation of Vault itself.
Yeah, got it.
Previously, the applications are running on a cloud or on-prem. Only we are talking about applications and databases running in different environments. Now we are talking how to install Vault. Install Vault on your on-premises, on a cloud, anywhere. That's independent of that one. So we have applications running on a cloud, Vault running on cloud. So two different things, right? So secret engines, right? This is what the second component after from the authentication and storage backends. Secret engine is one, encryption is the third one. That's it. Authentication. So Vault components which store, generate, and encrypt data. So as I was telling the previous database and HR example, where every data everybody can see if you have a permission. Now, even if you have a permission, it's all encrypted. You need to ask for token, then only you'll get authenticated. Means your authentication is always done every time you authenticate it. It's done by the default. Many secret engines can be enabled and used as needed. As I was telling, multiple cloud vendors. Now your applications are running on cloud. Let's take AWS as example, simplest example, and that have IAM, Identity Access Management. For Azure, it is Active Directory, right? Microsoft Active Directory or KMS or key management system and all. You need to integrate those things with the Vault now. And that's the reason it's a plugin model. I can enable anything. And those secret engines, suppose I have, for argument's sake, I have 3 teams, and these 3 teams are running their applications in 3 different cloud environments. You can have a single vault accommodating these 3 different teams. 4 teams, let's assume 4th team is your in-house applications. You have a mix of always think in a real world you will have a mix of hybrid application. One guy likes AWS, one guy likes Azure, one guy likes GCP, one guy likes the applications running in his own data center. All 4 things you can accommodate through the single vault. As an administrator vault, you control all these environments by using a single vault. That's the beauty of this one. And everybody can be mounted on a particular path. Let's put it in Linux world, we call it as a path. Same thing here also. It's like /Azure. Every application is running on, every database is running on, every kind of services running on Azure. Please mount to this path. If it is GCP, please mount to GCP path. If it is on-premises, please mount to whatever name you want to give for on-premises path. So all same vault, but multiple paths. It's like a tree structure, putting like a tree structure. That's it. All interactions are done directly with the path itself. Nothing complicated algorithms, nothing complicated diagrams. It's just a simple path. Think like that /Azure, /AWS, /GCP, /my favorite, my data center. That's it. So authentication methods, again, it can authenticate through all these 3 vendors. Again, plug in. One is accessing those cloud environments. One is authenticating. When I use IAM, again, I need to authenticate through IAM, because even when I use these cloud vendors, I need to enter. Cloud vendor doesn't know what his vault is, but before vault I come, means I am the guy who has gone into a cloud environment, dumped into my applications into AWS. Now in order to put those applications, I need to have access permissions. That is AWS permissions, access key and secret key. Azure will have its own permissions. GCP will have its own permissions. Now Vault can authenticate with those things also. That is what authentication. After you authenticate, are you able to actually run these applications or access these applications? That is what we do with the third-party vendors. And they are also integrated. And how it does is, because AWS, Azure or GCP provide APIs, and Vault use those APIs to authenticate those things. And that is called as REST-based APIs. Everything is done through HTTP APIs. How it does means through REST APIs, because everybody has to provide APIs, and you use those APIs to authenticate all those services. So that's the way to think about from a cloud vendor. So once authenticated, Vault will issue a client token used to subsequent Vault request read and write. And audit devices, which I was talking about, this is for authentication for all the access to the Vault itself. I think this is where your interest will be as an administrator, as a Vault admin or anybody. Your interest would be more towards on how do I, these are very, very important things. Authenticate, troubleshooting, simple thing. I want to troubleshoot Vault. Some developer comes into guys, says that my application is not authenticated to Vault. My user IDs, the tokens are revoked or whatever. Vault related issues or Vault related authentication you need to deal with the logging thing. This is where you enable Vault audit enable file, that path you give it, and anytime Vault is running here, this will dump all the log files to this particular place, and whoever is accessing logs, including you, it will store all the information in this log files. It's in a JSON format, hashed before logging. That's a straightforward, nothing's tricky here. So this is what I was talking. Vault path. We will get through an example. You get an idea about, but it's simple Linux path. You need to think of. Everything in Vault is a path based, right? It's like a /Azure /Kubernetes /LDAP /AWS, any kind of things, plugin. And the path prefix tells Vault which component request should be routed to. Multiple, as I told, multiple teams, multiple vendors. You can route it to the right path through the path path itself. And secret engines and authentication method are mounted at a specified path /Azure, /AWS, /GCP. And paths are available independent on the features enabled in the Vault, such as authentication methods and secret engines. One default is sys endpoint. We will see what that sys endpoint gives an example, right? So this is where the real-time example comes into path, right? Vault paths. Permissions, policies are generated based upon the path. This is where you're asking, right? How can an application can know, how can Vault can know this application is requires this authentication username and a token. So it is tied up to that particular path. If you type up Azure /my e-commerce app /XYZ team, that's the application will be accessing that particular path. And now you will have read, write, update, list, delete, all these CRUD related operations you can apply on that one. And who has that access? Whether an application can read the password? Yes. Write the password? Yes. Update the password? Yes. Delete the password? Yes. So those permissions are come with the policies. You put for that particular path, that particular application, that particular namespace, and that application can have all the permissions. By default, deny all, but many applications will just need a read. There are implications where you need to even write. Some applications need to be able to write the password also. In those scenarios, you can give that access to them. See, example, some secret have predefined paths. See, example, database secret has database config name, connection information. This connection information is nothing but your database name, where is your IP address, where is the URL for that one, and that's all you'll have. And what is the role? A DBA cannot have access to all the databases. He will have only specific set of databases, specific set of tables, whatever CRUD operations you want to do on those things. And role name, credential, let's say what you call senior DBA, junior DBA, or just an intern. So those are, you can define on the role also. What is the role name? That's the database things. Now to get a bigger picture, see, this diagram gives you a better picture. How does Vault stores? This is how Vault stores inside. If I want to have a secrets, the basic secret is a key value store, username and password. Think in that way. And you can think about, end of the day, I am storing secrets for an application here. This is a particular use case for an application called as a Skylines Web or Learn Portal. These are two different applications. Now you can easily see here is this particular application has this username and password. If that guy wants to access that particular application, he has to access this path, secrets, apps, Skylines Web, and username. Then he will get the password here. Same thing for Lean Portal. This is where your key value store is getting stored in this particular hierarchy for the secrets for your applications. There is no username here. There is only application. This is what I was talking about, microservices and applications. Think about remove microservice. Think like an application itself. If an application wants to authenticate, previously I was telling, it is stored in the properties file, in the text file, which is moved from dev to TST to prod. Everybody can see. A system administrator can see an application's configuration file. He's only a system administrator. A storage administrator can see the text file. If he has a production action, a prod ops can see that 10 different properties file with 10 different applications. So those are all easily viewable, everybody. And many people can access that one. Many people can delete that one also. Now that is no more. Now that world is gone. You are a system administrator. You cannot see because that text file is moved from a flat file system, a properties file, to the Vault itself. Now your application is directly talking to the Vault instead of going to a file system and reading that one, which can be deleted, which can be done. But Vault, the database actually stores. That is what your database stores in a key value pair. Make sense this diagram, guys?
Yes, Naren. Just a quick.
Yeah.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.